Jamaica, outgoing Haitian Prime Minister Henry ratified his resignation after the press conference of the Community of Caribbean States in Kingston. National government of Argentina set up a crisis committee and deployed army patrols amid serious situation of criminal violence in Rosario. And the director of the organization Save the Children for the occupied Palestinian territories stated that children in Gaza are going through a period of shock and pain on a large scale. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Luis Alberto Matos from the TeleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. The resignation of Haitian Prime Minister Henry was confirmed at a press conference of the Community of Caribbean States in Kingston, Jamaica. Haitian Prime Minister Henry did not attend Monday the meeting in Jamaica convened by the Caribbean community to try to find a solution to the crisis in Haiti. In his place, the minister, who is currently stranded in Puerto Rico after parliamentary groups took control of the country, shared through his account in the social media X a pre-recorded video where he confirmed his resignation after weeks of growing tensions and violence in his country. Thus, the move that was already underway a week ago is completed and the process for the installation of a transitional government begins.
No sacrifice is too great for our country. The government I lead will resign immediately after the installation of a council. We will be a provisional government until a prime minister and new cabinet are appointed. I want to thank the Haitian people for the opportunity they have given me. I ask all Haitians to remain calm and to do everything possible to bring back peace and stability as soon as possible.
The paramilitary groups that maintain control of more than 80% of Port-au-Prince, the capital of Haiti, assured that they will not accept the intervention of foreign forces. The coalition of criminal groups recently formed under the name of Living Together, and which this Monday obtained its first victory with the confirmation of the resignation of the Prime Minister, Henry, rejects all international efforts to find a way out of the serious crisis the country is experiencing. Jimmy Cherizier, the gang leader who convened the alliance, affirmed in a public meeting that they launched a battle to free the country from the grip of the traditional politicians and the corrupt oligarchs. He asked the international community to give the country a chance and let the Haitians decide their destiny. The president of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, affirmed that the United States finances and provides arms to criminal groups in Haiti.
In Haiti, there is an uprising of the criminal groups. Who is behind the uprising of the criminal groups? Very powerful groups. Who armed those criminal groups with those rifles that we see? Who? Were assembled on their own? Where did the weapons come from? They have been denouncing for 4 years that the arms came legally from the United States. Why didn't the United States do anything? Who is interested in the chaos in Haiti? Who is interested in it? Who is asking for an invasion of Haiti? Let's draw conclusions.
Mexico's Secretary of Foreign Relations, Alicia Bárcena, on the other hand, praised CARICOM and its member countries' role in promoting dialogue between the political forces in Haiti for a solution of the present crisis without foreign interference.
I wish to recognize fully the efforts of CARICOM and you, Mr. President, and the Prime Ministers of CARICOM who are here today. I wish to recognize all of you because you have been able to promote dialogue between all the political forces of Haiti. A lasting and permanent solution can only come from within the Haitians context, and one that includes all of the actors and does not involve foreign interference, but real support from the international community.
In Peru, during a plenary session, Parliament rejected to disqualify from public service the President of the National Board of Justice, Antonio de la Haza. Since 4 p.m. local time, Parliament was debating to remove the holder of the presidency for the Board of Justice. The Subcommittee on Constitutional Accusations recommended to charge him for alleged violation of Section 3, Article 156 of the Constitution. They were only able to gather 51 votes in order for their impeachment to proceed. 2/3 of the total 130 parliamentary votes are required. Even though the procedure was filed, the bench of Popular Renewal presented a reconsideration which was approved. In that sense, his permanence at the front of the board is still on suspense. In view of the serious situation of criminal violence in the city of Rosario in the center-east of Argentina, the national government has set up a crisis committee and deployed the army to patrol the city. Although a week ago the Minister of Security, Patricia Bullrich, presented results that she described as spectacular against violence, she has also announced the reinforcement with federal contingents and the logistic support of the army for a city that has been declared by its own residents in a state of commotion. The minister also announced that she will ask for exceptional measures, such as the anti-terrorist law, to increase the penalties. The city has experienced an upsurge in violence in acts associated with drug trafficking. In Argentina, the workers of the national news agency reject the decision of the executive branch and demand that TELAM be put back to work. In an assembly attended by more than 500 workers held at a workers' union building, they rejected the voluntary retirements and announced that they will continue with the campouts and protests. For more than 2 hours, they discussed the right to information of citizens. In addition to the resistance actions, they affirmed that they will maintain through the portal Somos TELAM all the contents that the government of the President Javier Milei has decided to censor. Let's now take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok at TeleSUR English, where you will find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. Other stories coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back from the South. On Tuesday, the director of the organization Save the Children for the Occupied Palestinian Territories, Jason Lee, said that children in Gaza are going through a period of shock and pain on a large scale. The report presented by the organization warned about immense mental damage suffered by children in Gaza due to the genocidal operation of the occupation forces. For his part, Jason Lee emphasized that children must dodge bombs and bullets, flee from their homes, jumping debris and corpses. They must sleep outdoors, without food, without water, and without medications. The report reiterates that physical and mental scars prevent recovery, and even though they are still at a reversible point, the destruction of health centers and the constant aggressions of Israeli forces make them fear the worst. Qatari Foreign Ministry spokesman Majed Al-Ansari stated on Tuesday at a press conference in Doha that Israel and Hamas are not close to reaching an agreement on the cessation of hostilities in Gaza and the release of hostages.
I can't offer any timeline, sadly, at the moment. The situation is very complicated on the ground. We are not near a deal, meaning that we are not seeing both sides converging on a language that can resolve the current disagreements over the implementation of the deal. But we remain hopeful, and we continue pushing for a deal to happen in the near future.
On the other hand, Qatari Foreign Ministry spokesman also regretted that the people of Gaza were not able to welcome the holy month of Ramadan with any notion of peace.
Thank you, Callum. As I was just saying, we were all hoping that the people of Gaza can receive the holy month of Ramadan with some notion of peace, some notion of normalcy, and sadly that did not happen. All of us were pushing towards that happening before the beginning of Ramadan. However, that did not deter us from continuing the work and the negotiations to reach a deal, hopefully within the confines of Ramadan. When it comes to
a ship carrying humanitarian aid to Gaza sailed from Cyprus on Tuesday, reported the World Central Kitchen, a non-profit organization that said it is the first maritime shipment of aid to the Gaza Strip. In this way, the ship departed from the port of city of Larnaca with about 200 tons of food on the open arms ship to deliver much-needed aid to the Gazans. In the meantime, World Central Kitchen announced that it had partnered with the United Arab Emirates, Cyprus, and also with the Spanish charity organization Open Arms to coordinate the shipment. It should be noted that the aid shipment comes as Cyprus, the European Commission, the United States, the United Arab Emirates, and the United Kingdom work to establish a maritime corridor to deliver aid directly to Gaza. The Lebanese organization Hezbollah confirmed having fired more than 100 Katyusha rockets against several military posts of the Israeli occupier. In this sense, the resistance movement indicated that the action is a response to the bombardments of the Israeli occupier that left a civilian dead and several wounded in Baalbek. On the other hand, Hezbollah also confirmed that the attack is the largest and most massive since tensions began on October 8, 2023. In this regard, the Tel Aviv Defense Forces reported the attack coming from Lebanon, explaining that there were neither dead nor wounded, although they recognized strong explosions in different points of the territory. In the United States, citizens rallied in solidarity with Palestine before and during the Oscar ceremony. Hundreds of demonstrators greeted the artists with boos in recognition to the holding of the 96th Hollywood Academy Awards, denouncing that while the award ceremony is taking place, the Israeli genocide in Palestine continues. In addition, some artists participated in the event, such as the winner for Best Original Song, Billie Eilish, and comedian Rami Youssef, wore red pins to call for an immediate and permanent ceasefire in Gaza, as well as lasting peace and justice for the Palestinian people. At the Oscar ceremony in the United States, local and international artists showed their support for the Palestinian cause and demanded a permanent ceasefire in Gaza.
A bunch of us are wearing these Artists for Ceasefire pins. We're calling for immediate...
Yeah, tell me about the pin.
Yeah, we're calling for immediate, permanent ceasefire in Gaza. We're calling for peace and justice, lasting justice for the people of Palestine. And I think it's a universal message of just let's stop killing kids. Let's not be part of more war. No one's ever looked back at war and thought a bombing campaign was a good idea. And so to be surrounded by so many artists who are willing to lend their voice, the list is growing. A lot of people are going to be wearing these pins tonight. And it's because we want to kind of use where we're at to speak to people's hearts. You know, there's a lot of talking heads on the news. This is a space of talking hearts, and so we're trying to just kind of have that big beam.
Moreover, the winner of the Oscar in the category of Best International Film, Jonathan Glazer, expressed his solidarity with the victims of the Israeli occupation in Palestine.
Right now, we stand here as men who refute their Jewishness and the Holocaust being hijacked by an occupation which has led to conflict for so many innocent people. Whether the victims of October the 7th in Israel or the ongoing attack on Gaza, all are victims of this dehumanization. How do we resist?
We have a functional break coming up, but before we invite you to join our WhatsApp community for our English-speaking audience. You can scan the QR code on screen to join directly and share the link to reach more people. Constant news coverage of Latin America and the Caribbean as well as the rest of the world. Stay connected and informed with TeleSUR. Functional break, don't go away. Welcome back. On Tuesday, the head of the United Nations Atomic Agency met with Japan's Minister of Economy, Trade and Industry in Tokyo. It's Grossi's first visit to Japan since releases of the treated water began in August.
To meeting with the local communities, as you mentioned, with the mayors in the region, with the fishermen's associations, with the Chamber of Commerce, with students, the young generations that have shown willingness to meet with me, to ask questions, easy questions, difficult questions, whatever is in their minds. I think it's very important to show the transparency of this process.
On Monday, Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson and NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg held a joint press conference during Sweden's accession ceremony to the military alliance. On March 7, Sweden joined NATO after more than 200 years of neutrality, becoming the 32nd member of the bloc. It should be noted that Sweden's accession to the US-led alliance was materialized despite warnings from Russian President Vladimir Putin. In this sense, the Russian leader has denounced that this expansion is a move aimed at destabilizing and increasing tensions between the West and his nation. For his side, Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson assured that his country will share the burdens of responsibilities and risks, acknowledging that the security situation in his region has not been as serious since World War II.
After more than 200 years of neutrality, you are joining the strongest and most successful military alliance in history. So welcome to NATO. It's great to have you here. NATO is stronger with Sweden as a full ally than Sweden as a close partner. So this is a good day for Sweden, a good day for NATO, and a good day for security and stability across Europe.
In Russia and Moscow, the Central Election Commission on Sunday reported the start of advanced voting in the Russian presidential elections set for next week for inhabitants of remote areas, ship crews, and some military units. The voting will last until March 14th, as elections in the rest of the Russian territory will begin the following day and will last 3 days. Traditionally, during early voting, CEC members travel by helicopters, snowmobiles, and dog sleds to the most remote areas of the country. In the previous Russian presidential elections in 2018, only 0.29% of voters, about 180,000 people, voted early. In Lugansk, Donetsk, Zaporizhia, and Kherson, authorities have registered more than 4,500,700 voters. According to the CEC representative, the largest number of voters in new Russian regions was registered in Donetsk, with more than 1,900,500 voters. In this context, the Foreign Intelligence Service denounced that the United States is planning cyber attacks on the country's electronic voting system during the March 17th presidential elections. According to the agency, Washington will mobilize its most experienced hackers. Russia will hold presidential elections next March 17th. Electronic voting will be available from the 15th. The candidates running from the highest office in Russia are Leonid Slutsky of the Liberal Democratic Party, Nikolai Kharitonov of the Communist Party, Vladislav Davankov of the New People Formation, and the current president, Vladimir Putin, who is running as an independent. In Switzerland, the commander of the police of Cantonal-de-Valais, Christian Veyron, reported the discovery of 5 lifeless bodies of the 6 missing skiers. The official detailed that the people had left for a popular tourist destination in the area on Saturday morning and that they were reported in the region of Tête Blanche. Veyron did not give details of the identity of the bodies found. However, he indicated that the rescuers continue in the search of the 6th missing person. The official also said that snowfall and strong winds had hindered much of the rescue work. In Finland, port workers' unions go on strike in rejection of the reforms implemented by the government. According to the mobilized unions, the strike that began on Monday will continue until March 25th, which will paralyze cargo transportation in most of the country's ports. Demonstrators are opposed to pension reforms, sick leave, unemployment, simplification of dismissals, and the prohibition of strikes. According to local media, although raw materials will remain at the ports until the strike ends, some perishable goods, such as medicines and flowers, will be transported on passenger ships operating normally. On Tuesday, SpaceX Dragon capsule carrying 4 astronauts returned from the International Space Station, splashing down in the Gulf of Mexico near Pensacola, Florida. SpaceX said the capsule splashed down at approximately 5:47 a.m. local time, approximately 6.5 hours after it left the ISS. It brought NASA astronaut Jasmine Mogbelli, ESA astronaut Andreas Mogensen, JAXA astronaut Satoshi Furukawa, and Roscosmos cosmonaut Konstantin Borisov back to Earth. After spending over 6 months at the space station, the replacements arrived last week in their own SpaceX capsule. We have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on our social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Luis Alberto Matos. Thanks for watching.